Steve Nicholson signals the start of the second half, and there seemed to be a lack of urgency there. Dave Larder deciding that he should be the man to carry the ball back, and he does. 12 metres away from the line as Sharif gets it to Spink, and Spink carries on with the ball and holding off Farrell. Great start from the second row at the beginning of this second half, and Fisher's seen an opportunity down this short side and skip the defence, and Fisher manages to stay in play, get back up and get the ball inside. Well, I thought there was a knock on there, but Halifax continue the momentum forward as Wisner throws a long ball out to Gibson. Gibson turns it back inside to Larder. Lazy pass to the second rower. As MacDonald takes the ball off a short run and drives it towards the post. Fisher to Lawford. Lawford off the side of the boat, and MacDonald chasing the kick through was almost the first to get there. And the referee has awarded Doncaster the tap on the 20. One or two Halifax supporters not agreeing with that. They think it was came off a Doncaster player. But the question is, did the ball play the man or vice versa? This occasion, obviously, the ball did play the man. Nicholson's brought him back to the 20. And immediately Doncaster pouring forward, with Moana getting up towards the halfway line before being put down by Bloom. Former teammates, of course. As Haaland once again causes problems, slings the ball behind him. And Bloom tries the ankle tap. Well, there's no ground gain at the moment. And Doncaster's momentum forward is eventually stopped. And Wisner puts down Green just over the halfway line. O'Loughlin drives the ball forward to the 40. Referee indicates that it's the last tackle, and Taffy looking for options, and Allroyd goes to the air. And Haley rises up majestically under pressure. There was no shadow for him as Miles and Farrell poured forward. Gibson gets it away to try and find a bit of room for Sharif, and Sharif is quickly put down by Haaland. You know the danger of the winger, that's why he's not getting much room. Bloom getting through a bit of work, ball comes loose, play on, says the referee, and Halifax give possession away in a crucial part of the field. And then concede a penalty, which I suspect may have been played for. Tuilangi on for Halifax, replacing MacDonald. So long pass comes out. Allroyd will look for support. What a tackle from Bunyan. It didn't take man and ball, but it knocked Allroyd right out of his stride. A thumping tackle. It needs some more here as Carl Mills is put down on the 10 metre line. Moana will look for runners. And once again, it's back over this side. Allroyd fires the ball out to Farrell. Farrell looking for options. Black and Wisner with a tackle. Quick play the ball. And it's back once again with Farrell off Craig Miles. The man, of course, that fractured Dean Lawford's skull in a match at Batley last season. And Bloom underneath the kick gets up and plays it quickly. Halifax looking for the quick advantage as Gibson drives forward. There's a lazy snatch around Gibson's head there, which the referee ignored. Sharif will look for the gap. I'm not sure Doncaster going back the full quarter there. Black out to Bunyan, and Bunyan loses possession, and Doncaster go back on the attack again with Craig Miles, and Black is penalised for holding down the winger, seeing that his teammates were struggling perhaps to get back into position, and that kick has put the ball 10 metres away from the Halifax line. So Halifax have work to do in defence again as Taffy gives it to O'Loughlin, and O'Loughlin down on the 10-metre line. Halifax have only themselves to blame for this onslaught, as they've managed to give possession away, but Doncaster have returned the favour and given the possession back. Morley is that comes up with it, and Morley almost through the gap there like a centre. O'Loughlin catching Morley, who's copped an injury there, shoulder injury, something which Wayne Corcoran knows all about. He'll be out for some time, and Bloom shrug of the shoulder on Farrell, and that'll be another penalty to Doncaster. Well, Halifax have been gifted possession by Doncaster, after in turn Halifax gifting possession to them, and Jamie Bloom has just gifted them the possession again. But 10 points down. Allroyd not taking the option of the conversion from 30 metres out. He'll put Halifax back on their own line defending once again, and Doncaster looking for a quick return for Hanford, while Doncaster have the momentum and the upper hand towards that Halifax line. Now they come back to the left hand side, and once again it's Craig Cook who stands with the ball, and nobody laid a hand on him, and the fullback Cockayne comes into the line from fullback, skips through the defence, and Doncaster right back in this game. It's Doncaster 16, Halifax 22. Well, they paid the price again, as they did in the first half, giving the possession to Doncaster, and Doncaster have been setting up on that Halifax 10-metre line for 3 consecutive sets of 6 after 2 handovers and a penalty, and Allroyd from in front of the post obliges with another 2. And Halifax are I've got Doncaster clutching at the shirt tails again. Doncaster 18, Halifax 22. But they've only themselves to blame for giving away the possession, giving away the penalty. 8 penalties to 3 it is now in Doncaster's favour, as Bloom gets the height on it. And the chaser's there. The man that caught the ball wasn't the man that was tackled. Hanford back on for Doncaster. They play the dangerous game but manage to keep the ball alive, and Miles making important metres for Doncaster away from their own line. Carl Mills trying to do the same, but forced on a crab-like sideways run. Back to Allroyd, looking for the 40-20. Haley dropping back for it and managing to knock it backwards. Well, at least Haley saw the danger, stepped round 2. Well, there's Cockayne coming across, and Haley will go down on halfway and manage to stay in the field of play. Tuilagi runs back into trouble, then pops it up for Black. Fisher eyes up the options, takes the ball forward towards that Doncaster 40. Spink to shouts a forward pass, carries the ball on another 12 metres. Fisher has Black in support. Black brings Tuilagi onto it, and Tuilagi only just managing to keep hold of the possession around the side of his the hip area. Black fires it out to Lawford. What can Lawford conjure up? Steps round 2, gets away again. Lawford still going with the ball, still evading Doncaster tacklers. Wisner can't do the same. Halifax don't make any ground. It's a last tackle. Lawford standing perhaps in the pocket for the drop goal, but it goes back to Ben Black, who'll chip over the top, and Haley will catch the ball from Ben Black on the last tackle. He'd been injured in the process. Well, if Craig Miles is a man that tackled him, anything could have happened there, but James Haley, he's not getting up from that tackle, but he will be glad to know in the process of being injured, that he is restored an 8-point lead for Halifax. And once again become the club's top scorer for the season with 15. With a great kick from Black, perfectly positioned. So was the winger Haley as he ran in to take the ball and put it down for another 4-pointer. Back on his feet. So that's a good sign for Halifax. An even better sign is the 4 points he's posted has restored an 8-point lead with Bloom's kick to come, so it puts the pressure back on Doncaster somewhat. So Bloom, well, it didn't look as though it was going to get off the ground. Bloom turned round to smile at the Doncaster supporters. Well, I hope he's not tempting fate. But 10 points now the gap. Doncaster 18, Halifax 28. Doncaster changing over Peter Green for Martin Osler, so they're going back with the 2 big props. Lawford calls for the ball again and gives it inside to Larder. Well, there's no onrush from the Doncaster defenders, who all moved up in a line together. And here comes Sharif again, dropping the shoulder. Dropping it too early because he's still meeting the line of forwards. He's the winger. Coming in looking for work. Morley seems to have recovered from that shoulder injury. Drives it up towards the 40. Tuilangi goes down the short side. Trying to wrestle every inch out of the run there, Tuilangi, not wanting to go to ground. Jason Bultz is back on for Halifax to replace Morley as Spink drives the ball up over halfway. Fisher, Lawford kicking again off the outside of the foot, and Spink chasing the ball. Well, there's a man who's stuck there with nowhere to go with the ball and looked a little bit hesitant there, did Wayne Green, as he was chased down. And it looks like Graham Alroyd's limping. And Alroyd limping off the field. Well, that's a shame for Doncaster. Hopefully Halifax will benefit from it. Green runs forward with the ball. Turn round and look for the opportunity to pass to support, but referee Steve Nicholson seen a forward pass from 40 metres away. Well, Doncaster looking for one against the head there as Ben Black's hampered into a rush pass, and Doncaster have possession from the scrum, and Craig Lawton going to race away and put Doncaster right back in this game. But once again, Halifax surrender possession. It was a scrappy pass from the back of the scrum. Lawton pouncing on the ball. Halifax were hoping to be going forward. Nobody quick enough to turn round and catch the centre, who romps in for his second try from 40 metres out. With the conversion in front of the post for Wayne Green, it means that Doncaster are now back within 4 points. Doncaster 24, Halifax 28. So Doncaster put under pressure and responding to that pressure with a try of their own after a terrible pass from the back of the scrum. Halifax must now defend as Doncaster bring the ball away. Well, it doesn't seem to have had any ill effect whatsoever, the loss of Graham Alroyd, and here come Doncaster again with that man Lawton taking the ball over halfway, and they'll be looking to get up and play the ball quickly as Doncaster pour forward. Halifax have scrambled back in defence. Harland goes for the run, gets the ball away, and Doncaster have men queuing up on this side as Cockayne is tackled by Damien Ball, but Taffy is allowed to carry it up to the 20-metre line. Carl Mills wrapped up by Spink and Bunyan, but the pressure's still not off for Halifax. 12 metres out, Taffy using the short side, and there's an opportunity here for the winger Miles, who's being brought back on. He was only taken off about 10 minutes ago. Perhaps it was a blood bin. Now they ship it out wide, and they have been on that far side as well to Doncaster as Moana throws a pass which went a yard and a half or at least more forward, and that's a let off for Halifax. Jason Bolt's charged with taking the ball away from the Halifax line in the first instant and making 10 metres with it, and a little bit frustrated at not being allowed to get up and play the ball quickly, and Spink does the same and carries it on another 10, and once again Doncaster slow to clear the rucks as Wisner looks for a way through the defence. One of his quieter afternoons, I think, for the captain by his own admittance. So Sharif flies onto the ball from Lawford, steps through the first defence. Sharif is racing towards the line, and it could be a spectacular end to a terrific run by Sharif. Halifax pouring forward. Gibson for the hat-trick, and Gibson will make the third try. But it was thanks to Sharif, and once again it was Lawford's inside pass that sent the winger airing down the field, leaving defenders grasping at thin air and frustrations boiling over. But the try's being given, and Damien Gibson, well, I don't think there's many fullbacks get hat-tricks, but Damien Gibson has managed that feat this afternoon. But it was a mere formality once Sharif had left Doncaster defenders trailing in his wake after a great pass from Lawford. Electric pace from the winger. And Gibson got up and went from dummy half. Not enough defenders back for Doncaster. The lead is once again 8 points. So Bloom to restore the 10-point lead. Taking his time over the kick. Can't hit the target. Doncaster supporters at the far side knew that as soon as the ball left the tee. Well, they must be expecting a lot of this number 17 Tom Buckingham, because we've seen him take the training top off. And it's immediately drawn admiring applause from the Doncaster faithful. It remains to be seen what he can do, but on several occasions this afternoon Doncaster haven't needed any help from their own players, because Halifax have contributed significantly to their own problems in this game by giving away so much possession and conceding so many penalties. Damien Ball gets through the first line of defence but can't get back to his feet. Fisher once again down this short side with Tuilange, who brushes away the centre's attempt at a first tackle, then gets it back to Fisher, and Fisher put down on the 40. Black waits at acting half. Ball gives it to Wisner. Wisner to Jason Bolts, but the defence is solid from Doncaster, and Halifax lose ground. Lawford says, let's get out of here. Hooks the ball downfield. Well, the bounce will stop it in a good position for Halifax, but how good is the chase? Halifax coming up in a line, and Andy Spink there first with Gibson to try and keep Doncaster under their own post. And Damien Gibson stopping in that line. Now he's dropping back to the full-back position as Doncaster take it over the 20-metre line on the third tackle. And once again, the look for the long kick. And Haley back for that one. Referee having a quick look behind him, but anything that went on before he turned round. And Haley takes the ball almost up to halfway. Bloom will go from acting half. Thought about the pass as Ben Fisher goes from acting half, putting doubts in the mind of the Doncaster defence until they finally bring him down after 10 metres. Larder fires the ball out to Black, and Black evading 2, evading 3, and a great ball to Spink, and Andy Spink will race from 20 metres out, and the referee, well, the Doncaster players are saying have a look at the touch judge on the far side, but the try is going to be given. The touch judge took up a position at the left hand side of the post to suggest there may have been something amiss with a pass from Black to Spink, but the referee had seen enough to say he thought it was fine, and Andy Spink has got the third try this second half for Halifax, and that stretched the lead to 12 points. So this a crucial kick for Bloom. A 14-point lead really does pile it onto Doncaster, but Halifax's ability to press the self-destruct button so far this afternoon on several occasions means that with about 18 minutes to go, this game is by no means over. But Bloom's kick could be a big contribution as to what Doncaster can do in those last 18 minutes. And no response from the Doncaster supporters this time, as Bloom, who's had a bit of an off day with the boot, managed to put that one over and give Halifax the biggest lead of the afternoon by 14. It's Doncaster 24, Halifax 38. So still maybe less than 18 minutes, I don't know, something around that. Doncaster go for the short kick. It's Bloom that's underneath it. On the 40, so that's helped Halifax's cause as Lawford fires it out to Wisner. Wisner to Tuilange, but Halifax once again press the self-destruct button in an effort to keep the ball moving and try and take advantage on this side. When the kick had been put, Doncaster had men stacked on that side for the short kick, and Halifax unable to take advantage and once again put themselves under pressure on the 30-metre line as Tafai feeds the scrum, and Farrell is put down on the 30. Cockayne linking up from fullback again, trying to duck under the tacklers. Fisher brings him down. O'Loughlin, well, there's not many people can push Tuilange away, and although he didn't compete the tackle, he made the impact that stopped O'Loughlin in his tracks. And Moana looking dangerous again. He has done on several occasions in this game. He tries to generate something for Doncaster, who's still 8 metres away. Halifax, well, they're hanging off, and they let the number 11, Lee Harland of all people, barge his way over from short distance. There were 3 men had hold of him, but one's at Haaland like Fisher in the first half with a downward motion. Halifax unable to contain the former Castleford second rower, and Haaland's try once again gives Doncaster hope. He cuts the lead to 10 points. Doncaster 28, Halifax 38. But once again, Halifax have coughed up possession. Only the second tackle in an attempt to catch Doncaster cold on this side of the field. And Doncaster taking advantage as Green puts over another successful conversion. And the lead is back down to 8 again. Doncaster 30, Halifax 38. And St John Ellis is down on the side of the field now, trying to motivate his players. Who are still potentially 15 minutes away from a semi-final of the Northern Wales Cup. So are Halifax, but they must learn to respect the possession. And they've got to stop Doncaster going forward. Moana teasing the defence once again there. O'Loughlin. It's put down just over the 20. Moana fires the ball out wide, and it's Haaland who managed to squeeze the ball out in the tackle. The Doncaster supporters on that far side of the field have seen something that the officials haven't seen. Tafai throws the long ball out. Buckingham is a man that the supporters cheered for, but he's brought down the tackle from Damien Ball, and Ball rushing forward, maybe caught here. The kick goes through, and Damien Gibson fumbles the ball. Well, Damien Gibson rushed into the ball there. Would have been better to use the feet. There was no pressure on him, but there's a lot of pressure on this Halifax defence again now, with Tafai throwing it out wide to Moana. And Moana has obviously seen the sniff of something, because he's getting involved in nearly everything going forward for Doncaster, and has won Doncaster a penalty. Fourth of the second half. Halifax yet to receive one. And Cook fires the ball into touch, and Halifax are put back on their own try line again, and O'Loughlin will drive the ball forward. Good tackling from Fisher and Larder. It needed to be, because Doncaster 8 metres away. Hanford will fire the pass out to his prop partner number 10 Martin Osler, who's brought down a metre away, and Hanford will barge his way over from short distance, and Halifax have failed once again to hold the Doncaster defence. Well, that's why Hanford was brought back on. And Hanford has put this game right back in the pot with a fourth try, which surely Green will convert, and that'll cut the lead to 2. And it will be Doncaster 36, Halifax 38, in a game which Halifax have really been in the comfort zone on several occasions at 12 points and 14-point leads, and continually made the mistake, which Doncaster, to their credit, have built upon and kept right on the shirt tails of the Halifax side, and now they're within sight at 36-38. Tuilangi off for Halifax. Andy Hobson back on. And Bloom taking an ace to put the ball on the tee. So 10 minutes left, a nerve-jangling 10 minutes for players and spectators alike at the moment. This match now back on a knife edge, with only 2 points separating these teams, and it never should have got to this. as Buckingham drives it forward, and Doncaster certainly have got the smell of something as they pour forward. O'Loughlin's a dummy runner as Cockayne comes into the line from full-back and almost takes advantage. And Halifax can ill afford to give a penalty away, but once again Bloom has been penalised, and that's 10 penalties to Doncaster, 3 to Halifax, and this one is going to make big yards for Doncaster and push Halifax back. And Doncaster have only led once in this game at 6 points to nil. Halifax have been in the driving seat and consistently thrown the lead away. Here comes Cockayne again, and he's only just knocked out of his stride. And Jason Bolts almost dragged in there and giving the penalty away. O'Loughlin stands in the tackle. And Hobson finally puts an end to any option of the pass out of the back door. But Halifax have been pushed back once again by Doncaster. Moana gives it to Hanford, and Hanford knocked to the floor by Damien Ball. Moana inside to Taffy, and Taffy has put Doncaster in the lead for only the second time in the game. And Halifax guilty of watching there. And once again it's a former Halifax player. It was Ireland that scored the drive that began the revival, and Moana setting Taffy up. And Green is going to get a pretty simple conversion here, and Halifax have not had the possession for the best part of the last 10 to 15 minutes since Andy Spink went over for his try. And Doncaster in the lead for only the second time in a match which, despite all the failings, Halifax have managed to control. And Green with probably his most difficult kick, but it'll be made easier by the fact that his side's in the lead, and he strokes that one over. Well, I hate to say this, but the loss of Graham Allroyd seems to have spurred Doncaster on, and now they lead by 4 points. Doncaster 42, Halifax 38. In a match that Halifax have really thrown away. They've never dominated the game, but they have been in excellent positions on several occasions and continuously made mistakes and gave away penalties that have just made it so much better for the Doncaster Dragons, who've taken full advantage. To their credit, they've never thrown the towel in. Wisely makes the tackle, but once again the ball is given away to O'Loughlin. He's brought down, and then finally the Doncaster faithful have something to sing about as Buckingham drives the ball over the halfway line. Ireland, he'll take the direct route up the middle. Last tackle, Ireland looking for the penalty. Referee Nicholson not having anything to do with it as Taffy puts the ball into touch, but Halifax 90 metres between them and the other end of the field. Well, they know Sharif has the pace, they know Ailey has the pace, but Doncaster will be buoyed in defence by the fact that this is a game that they've just eaten away and chipped away that Halifax lead, which at times has been enough really that Halifax should have been able to hold the possession and close the game up, but all they've done is given the possession away to Doncaster, and Doncaster have given Halifax a bit of a lesson this afternoon in taking advantage. Spink goes back inside, thought about the pass and then driven to the ground. Well, it's hard to see how Halifax can make any ground because of the tenacity of the defence, and once again the ball's given away, and this could be curtains for Halifax. Ben Black took an aid to get off the floor, knew he'd made the mistake, and Hanford is going to crash over. He is, and that is going to be the match for Doncaster surely at this stage. It's now given Doncaster the 8-point lead, and it is unbelievable scenes of joy for the Doncaster supporters. An unbelievable scenes of frustration for Halifax, because they've turned victory into defeat. So Wayne Green's most difficult kick, and Halifax, well, there's no way they're going to come back from this now, surely, because they just haven't had a sniff of the possession, and when they have, they've given far too much away. Green from the touchline, and he's got it over again. Who needs Holroyd? Doncaster Dragons 48, Halifax 38. Well, if to give it to Doncaster, Halifax have given them every chance, and Doncaster have been taken every chance they've been given. Bloom opts for the short kick this time, and it's Halifax that'll come up with it, will they? Well, MacDonald got it at the second attempt. Is there any drama left? Well, there is, because it's a penalty to Halifax. And the Doncaster supporters already making their way down to where the players will come off the field, because this game they feel is already won. And it certainly looks as though it will be, with Hobson pushes away the first line of defence. Have Halifax got enough time and enough petrol in the tank? Lawford could conjure something up, so could Ben Black. Round 2, round 3, Ben Black steps inside, ducks under another, gives it to Andy Spink. And Spink will settle it down and go to ground 5 metres out from the Doncaster line. Fisher will try to bury his way under. Halifax so close to the post, but so the Doncaster defenders, as Spink fires it out to Lawford. Lawford looks for options, turns this way, then that, and Black. Black shows the ball, Black shows it again, and then he's tackled. But the problem for Halifax is that they're too far away from those Doncaster posts if they go for the try there, so they really need to try somewhere within kickable distance for Bloom if they have any opportunity, as MacDonald's wrestled to the floor by Cocaine, the full-back. Lawford dancing, gives it to Hobson. Halifax losing ground. Hobson charging at the biggest man on the Doncaster side, who then has reinforcements all around him to stop the prop. Fisher fires the ball out, another stray pass which gets a kind bounce up to Black, but Halifax losing ground from a metre away from the line, being pushed back by the Doncaster defence. Larder comes back inside, gets the ball away, but Doncaster still holding out, still with tackles in the bag. I think this is the 4th one. Lawford gets it away to Wisner, but Wisner is held out by the Doncaster defence, driven backwards once again. Referee signals a last tackle. This could be the last chance that Halifax have. Lawford gives the ball to Spink. Spink running at the Doncaster line. It's the last tackle. He's got it away to MacDonald. MacDonald gives it out to Ball. Ball will try and chip through, and that not the result Halifax wanted. And this certainly isn't, because it's going to be another try to Doncaster as Green races away. Nobody's going to catch him. That's game, set and match for Doncaster. And Wayne Green races 90 metres to shatter Halifax's dreams of us. Well, they were already shattered, but hammers home the advantage. And Halifax were left on the last tackle, couldn't create anything because of the Doncaster defence, moving out constantly. And Wayne Green has just put the icing on the cake for St John Ellis' side. Andy Spink being helped off the field. Well, whatever St John Ellis says in his speeches, they're almost legendary, and that is why, because he's motivated Doncaster into something special here this afternoon, because Halifax have handed this match on a plate to the Doncaster Dragons time after time. And there's not many Halifax supporters left in this ground to see Green's conversion of his own try. And a scoreline of Doncaster 56, Halifax 38. And Halifax have just been absolutely blitzed in this second half. Bloom goes for the short one again. Damien Ball, it comes off his head. There's all sorts of shenanigans on the floor. Steve Nicholson will take the first knock on, but they won't need the scrum to form. McDonald's in the middle of a ruck in the middle. I think it's Marty Moana that's got hold of him, but it's irrelevant. As for the second week running, it looked like it might have exploded. But at the end of the day, Halifax just weren't up to the test. They gave away far too much possession. And Doncaster capitalised and took full advantage, and in the second half absolutely run riot. Halifax didn't touch the ball hardly for the last 20 minutes. When they did, it was the same result, in that Doncaster finished up, and Green, with the icing on the cake with that 80-metre try, has meant that Doncaster will go through to the Northern Rail Cup semi-final. Anthony Farrell will go back to the drawing board in an attempt to rebuild Halifax's league stature, because that's only yielded 2 wins at the Earth Stadium. The final score, Doncaster Dragons 56, Halifax 38.